Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to Dreamworks Switch to Life. And today's video is another Dreamworks monthly update where I discuss all of Dreamworks' upcoming projects in both movies, TV shows, and at the end of the video, video games. So without further ado, let's get started. So, in case you are wondering, our first movie is Trolls 3 Band Together. Currently, this is the only movie we have that actually has a trailer, which I've left in the description down below. But essentially, the plot is as follows. Branch has to go on a journey with Poppy to rescue his long-lost siblings, well, brothers, and reconnect and form the boy band Brozone, which disbanded when he was a baby. So, for some weird reason, I actually watched a second trailer for this movie in theaters with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, but I can't find that trailer anywhere on the internet, which is extremely weird. Maybe they're trying to save the spoilers for the actual movie. Anyway, the movie is set to be released on November 17th, 2023.
What?
Drama! Corn me, Dinkle!
Apparently, the only other official Dreamworks movie that we actually know about is Kung Fu Panda 4, which is set to release on March 8th, 2024. Now, we actually have some plot details, but sadly, no trailer. So, fair warning, spoilers ahead. The plot is basically this. Po is destined to replace Oogway as the master of the Valley of Peace, but in order to do that, he has to train a new dragon warrior. Basically, now that he has become a master, he has to choose a successor to train. He finds a promising young student named Shen, who will be played by Aquafina, and that's actually Zhen with a Z. Yeah, this is going to get confusing. So the main villain of this movie is actually someone named the Chameleon. Basically, she is a powerful sorceress who has the power to bring all of Po's former foes back from the dead. This includes Tai Lung, Shen, and Kai. Now you see how it can get confusing. Zhen with a Z, Shen with an S. Now, we don't actually know how she has the power to bring these foes back, but if I had to guess, I think she has the power to shapeshift into them, not actually bring them back. Oh, and Kung Fu Panda 4 is actually supposed to be the start of the Master Trilogy, where the first 3 films are known as the Student Trilogy. But, we don't actually have release dates for Kung Fu Panda 5 and 6, and I don't expect that we'll see Kung Fu Panda 5 for a few years. And just because Kung Fu Panda 4 is our last theatrical release for Dreamworks, doesn't mean it's not the last film based on one of their properties. Namely, How to Train Your Dragon live-action remake, which is coming on March 14th, 2025. We actually know very little about the cast, and the main reason for that is because even though the film was set to start filming on June 30th, it has been delayed due to the writers and actors strike. Yeah. So, production on the film has been delayed, but the film still has the same release date, although that could very well change. Now, please note, Dreamworks is not involved with this movie, aside from the fact that it's going to be based off of their property. And that is the last official theatrical movie that we have to talk about, but it's not our last movie to talk about. So, Dreamworks is actually working with Netflix to make a brand new film, Orian and the Dark, which is essentially as follows. Orian is your average elementary school kid, except he is afraid of pretty much everything, and he has an irrational fear of bees, dogs, the ocean, cell phone waves, murderous gutter clowns, and falling off of cliffs. But of all his fears, the thing he most is afraid of what he confronts on a nightly basis, the dark. So, when the literal embodiment of his worst fears pays a visit, the dark whisks Orion away on a roller coaster ride around the world to prove there is nothing to be afraid of in the night. As the unlikely pair grows closer, Orion must decide if he can learn to accept the unknown and to stop letting fear control his life and finally embrace the joy of living. Other than that, we don't really know much about the movie, except that it will be released on Netflix at some point in 2024. Moving on to the TV show side of things, the only confirmed TV show we have for Netflix is Kung Fu Panda: The Dragon Knight Season 3, which is also confirmed to be the final season for The Dragon Knight. This means that this will be the last time I cover this TV show in a monthly update. It will not be the last time I cover it on the channel, but definitely the last time I'll do it in a monthly update. So, despite the fact that this has low quality animation compared to the movies, I really enjoy this series. It has a great story with lots of lore implications, and I really enjoy it, and I hope that you guys enjoy it too, and are looking forward to when the series comes to an end on September 7th, 2023. Unfortunately, we don't know how many episodes will be included in Season 3, but I've heard a rumor that there will be 19. I personally don't believe that rumor, but still. We also have been given a rumor. It was a confirmed source, but at this point, I'm willing to call it a rumor that Go.Go Season 4 will be released at some point in 2023. To be honest, we actually got this information back in March, and the fact that it's already September and a year since Season 3 was released makes me think that either Season 4 won't be released until November or December, or that it will never happen at all. I don't actually know what to think, so this will not be the last time I mention Go.Go, but at the same time, I'm not holding my breath for Season 4 anymore. That same source also said that The Boss Baby Back in the Crib was renewed for Season 3, and while they initially said that it would be released in 2024, they immediately took it back 2 weeks after they posted the initial one. So I don't think we'll get Boss Baby Back in the Crib Season 3 until 2024, if we do get Boss Baby Back in the Crib Season 3. But considering Season 2 left off on a minor cliffhanger, it's not major enough that the show has to be renewed, but it's also not minor enough that it definitely wasn't the conclusion. Two shows that I think are safe to be renewed, however, are Not Quite Narwal and Dewdrop Diaries. Because here's the thing, unless Netflix actually announces that a show is only going to be one season, then the show is definitely going to be 2 seasons, unless it's a live action show. But considering we're talking about animated shows, then yeah, I think that Season 2 of both Not Quite Narwal and Dewdrop Diaries is a safe bet, especially considering that the runtime of Season 1 for both of these is the equivalent of 28 11-minute segments or 14 23-minute episodes. Both shows were actually confirmed to get 2 seasons with 26 episodes over their release, but I guess that was before the runtime was shortened from 23 minutes to 11 minutes per episode. So now we're dealing with 11-minute segments instead of 23-minute episodes. So while I do believe both of these shows are confirmed for future seasons, I don't think we'll see either of them get renewed until 2024. The one show that I'm not sure about, or maybe I'm sure about it, is Gabby's Dollhouse. Recently, we just got Season 8 at the start of August. No word about Season 9, but that's to be expected. The new season isn't even a month old. So I do believe that we will get a Season 9 because the show is just that popular. As to when, I expect it will either be December 2023 or sometime in 2024. And that's it for the TV shows, but the good news is we actually are not done. There's the Bad Guys Holiday Special, which is set to be released in the December of 2022. And I've been calling it The Bad Guys in the Holiday Heist, but that's just a made-up title by me. And we don't actually know anything about the casting for this movie. What we do know is the plot. This film will take place a year before the events of the film, in which the bad guys celebrate Christmas Day. It's not the gifts or the merrymaking that fuels their love for the holiday. It's that while everyone is busy opening gifts on Christmas morning, nobody's around to stop the bad guys from pulling off the citywide holiday heist of their dreams. They're forced to change their plans, however, when Christmas is canceled, and instead of stealing, they do the unthinkable and put their villainous ways aside to help restore holiday cheer by giving to everyone in town. Sadly, that is our final Netflix announcement, but the good news is we actually have an announcement for bad news, unfortunately. Just like Turbo Fast, Veggietales in the House, and the Mr. Peabody and Sherman Show, we have confirmation that Veggietales in the City is going to be removed from Netflix on September 14th, 2023. I tried to warn you guys of this as fast as possible, but if this is the first time you're hearing about it, I suggest you go watch this show before it's too late. Otherwise, you're gonna have to pay for it on Vudu or something like that. The good news is that's currently the only show with a removal date, but if I had to guess, the next show that's going to be removed is Dawn of the Croods, All Hail King Julian Exiled.
My life just passed before my eyes! It was awesome!
Or maybe even the special interactive episode Puss in Book, Trapped in an Epic Tale. So yeah, go watch Veggietales in the City while you still can, but aside from that, we're ready to move on to Peacock. So, good news, we actually have a release date for a Peacock TV show, namely Dragons: The Nine Realms Season 7. It's going to have 7 episodes and will be released on Peacock and Hulu on September 14th, 2023. In terms of what happens in this new season, I really like the direction that the trailer is going, but it's also giving me final installment kind of vibes. No, I don't mean Season 7 is the final season. I think that right goes to Season 8. As you are all aware, for the past few months, I've been saying that the series has a total of 13 more episodes spread across 2 seasons, and with Season 7 having 7 episodes, that means we will eventually get a 6-episode Season 8, which will be the final season for the entire series. Unfortunately, I don't know when that will release, but hey, Season 7's coming out. Next, we have The Croods Family Tree, which has currently reached Season 7 with a total of 45 episodes. So I believe that the show will be renewed for one final season with 7 episodes at some point in 2023. This will bring the series to 52 episodes, which is typically when Dreamworks TV shows end, and to be honest, I don't really see The Croods Family Tree as popular enough to go beyond the 52 episode mark. Then again, I said the same thing about Gabby's Dollhouse, and, well, that happened. The one show that I'm not 90% sure will be renewed is Abominable: The Invisible City. And the thing is, I really enjoyed this show. I would love for there to be a Season 3, but at the same time, the Season 2 left on such a good note that I wouldn't mind if the show was canceled after just 2 seasons. However, the show is really good, but the one thing it does do is make it so it's impossible for there to be an Abominable 2. Now, here's the thing. Dreamworks usually makes shows in phases, and I believe the first 2 seasons of Abominable: The Invisible City was Phase 1. So now it's just up to viewership numbers as to whether or not we're getting Phase 2. But considering the show hasn't been officially canceled, I don't think this is actually the final season, or at the least, it's not intended to be the final season. One show that we do know is eventually coming to Peacock is Fright Krewe, which is actually a horror show that is going to have 10 episodes in its first season. Unless it's a mini-series, in which case I think it's only going to have 10 episodes. It's been confirmed to be released at some point in the fall of 2023, so I'm thinking October to coincide with Halloween since this is a horror show. The plot is as follows. An ancient prophecy and a voodoo queen put misfit teens in charge of saving New Orleans from the biggest demonic threat it's faced in almost 2 centuries. But honestly, saving the world is going to be easier than becoming friends. Speaking of horror series, there's actually a live-action Casper the Friendly Ghost series in development at Dreamworks Animation. Unfortunately, we don't actually know when this series will be released. We just know it will be released at some point on Peacock. It could be 2023, at which point it will also be on Hulu, or 2024, where it will only be on Peacock.
All right, put your hands in the air.
Another show that's been confirmed for Peacock is Megamind's Guide to Defending Your City. I honestly cannot wait to watch this series, but if it does not have Will Ferrell in the cast, I'll still watch it, but we're gonna have a problem. One thing that has been confirmed about it is that it will star Megamind trying to find his way in being a hero, and even starting a YouTube channel or some other social media platform of channel where he tells you how to be a superhero as he fights off against a bunch of supervillains. The series will be released exclusively on Peacock in 2024. The reason I say that? For the past few years, Dreamworks has been releasing shows on both Peacock and Hulu because Universal has a stake in Hulu ownership. They're about to sell that ownership completely over to Disney, which means that now Peacock is the only streaming service Universal has. Don't worry, they'll still have their partnership with Netflix. Speaking of, there is a deal with Dreamworks that the movies that they make will stream on Peacock for 4 months after their theatrical release, then move to Netflix for 10 months, then another 4 months at Peacock. This is going to be the case with Gillman Teenage Kraken, which has been in theaters for quite some time, and now we actually have a release date for its digital and Blu-ray release. Currently, you can find the movie to buy it on digital, and it's going to be released on Blu-ray on September 26th, 2023. In terms of when it will come to Peacock, looking at the previous release patterns for the other two Dreamworks movies, I think it's safe to say that this movie will be released 10 days after the Blu-ray release, which would put that Gillman Teenage Kraken Peacock premiere on October 6th. In case you are wondering why I'm saying that, it's just that Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and The Bad Guys both had their streaming service release 10 days after their Blu-ray release. Universal might change their plans and release the film later, but I don't think they will. This film was a box office flop, so its only chance at success is that it becomes a streaming success. So the sooner it's out on a streaming service, the better. You can see my review for the film down below, and I consider it a good movie, not great, just good, but it's definitely worth watching after it comes to streaming. Especially because Gillman Teenage Kraken has potential to become a franchise, but only if the first film is successful, seeing as how it's already a box office flop and the lowest grossing Dreamworks film in history, a sequel is out of the question, but maybe a TV show isn't. But now it's time to move to our final streaming service. Currently, the only show that's confirmed for Apple TV Plus is rbrick. It's a music-filled series that is based off of a series of collectible toys. Remind you of another franchise Dreamworks has in their arsenal? It should. We don't actually know when this series will be released. It could be 2023 or 2024. All we know is that the first season will have 13 episodes and will be released on Apple TV+. There's also another TV show that has yet to be renewed, Pinecone and Pony Season 3. Now, we don't actually know when or if there's going to be a Season 3, but I believe that there is a Season 3 at least in development. And if we see a Season 3, it could be the final season just due to the fact that Apple TV Plus doesn't really have a lot of subscribers and thus not a lot of views, but maybe not. And now it's time for the most fun part of this entire video, Dreamworks All-Star Kart Racing. This is a video game that's essentially a crossover racing game where you can play up to 20 Dreamworks characters, and it will be released on October 24th, 2023, and it will be released on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, Nintendo Switch, which is the console I'm going to buy it on, or PC via Steam. The same thing can be said about their second game, Trolls Remix Rescue, which will be released on November 3rd. Sadly, no trailers for either game yet. The first game will be $40 with the Digital Deluxe Edition for $50, and the second game will be $50 with the Digital Deluxe Edition at a later date. I already talked about these games in detail in my last monthly upload, but in case you want to learn, you can just pause the video and read the screen. But one thing that I do want to discuss is the characters for All-Star Kart Racing. We currently have 15 out of the 20 base game characters confirmed and a total of 2 DLC characters. That leaves at least 5 character slots for unknown characters. So who do you think should be included in the game who's not already included in the game? Or are all of your favorites already confirmed? Leave a comment down below. And that is the end of the video. So to recap, we have Kung Fu Panda The Dragon Knight Season 3, the final season, coming to Netflix on September 7th, 2023. This will be followed by Dragons the Nine Realms Season 7, which will be released on Peacock and Hulu on September 14th, 2023. We also have Trolls 3 Band Together coming to theaters on November 17th, 2023. And we also have Kung Fu Panda 4 coming to theaters March 8th, 2024, followed by the live-action How to Train Your Dragon coming to theaters on March 14th, 2025. I expect that we'll also get Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken on October 6th on Peacock, but that is an unconfirmed release date. There is also the bad news that Veggietales in the City is going to leave Netflix forever on September 14th, 2023. And of course, there is the 2 video games, Dreamworks All-Star Kart Racing, which will be released on October 24th, 2023, and then a week after that on November 3rd, Trolls Remix Rescue. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure that you subscribe. We're really close to 100 subscribers, and I would appreciate it if we could get to that point before Trolls Band Together hits theaters. Leave a comment down below discussing what project you're most looking forward to, or what Dreamworks character you're most looking forward to playing as in the kart racer. Unless they're not going to be in the game, in which case, who do you think should be in the game? Leave that comment down below, and I hope you guys are staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.
Is that right? Your hand's on his butt, man.